11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Canelo won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Thanks to those joining me live and those that be joining me on the archive. D-Style here. If you're watching the archive, hit that like button, hit that notification so you're notified when I come on live and all that good stuff. If you're watching right now, of course, hit the like button, get your drink, whatever it is. I got the same thing I always drink, right? Some nice mineral water, and we'll get this one started. That's what we're gonna do. All right. Today we're gonna talk about a big lie. The lie heard around the world, right? And I'm also, although I didn't put a title, I'm going to talk about specifically, like this is very specific, a very specific type of Mexican fight fan, right? That I want to talk about. I want to talk about all of the, if you want to call them fight fans, I'm not sure, but a lot of the Latinos, specifically Mexican Americans that have been shading on Saul Canelo Alvarez this week because it's easy to do it, right? And we're going to talk about that and why it's pathetic. And I'm going to give them some unfortunate truths. Well, whether they want to hear it or not, they're going to hear it, right? So, but first, let's talk about the big lie. Right? I wish, let me see, do I have my, I do. So, and shout out to everybody that listens, by the way. I got construction workers that listen, right? They listen through their earbuds, they listen to, through wherever it is, at home. I got the metrics, 12% of people watch me on their TVs. Like, this is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? I can just imagine dudes putting on D-style boxing on their fucking living room, right? just cracking open a beer, just watching. Like, this is crazy, right? Or some of your wives watching D-style boxing. You know what I mean? It is what it is, but it ain't my fault. I'm just talking boxing over here. Right? It is what it is. But shout out to everybody. And the big lie, la mentira mentiroso. So you keep hearing, did you see all this shit? Like, 41 million viewers, 41 million viewers. Do you understand how many people 41 million people is? Can anybody grasp? No, nothing's wrong. I'm just talking shit. It's just fascinating. Like, I never thought people would be watching me on TV. Like, this is like, I don't think people understand sometimes, but it is what it is. But like, there's people watching me on the big screen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is nuts. But do people not understand? Like, how many? Like, it's just, I just want you to think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about it for a second. How many people a million is? You know how long it will take you to count to a million? This is crazy. First of all, there was already, like, what was it, like 67,000, whatever. I already forgot the number. Like tens of thousands of people in the arena watching. And then you want me to believe that like 41 million people watch this event. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why that's a flat out gross lie. It's a lie. more people watched it. That number is a low number. Well, what do you mean it's a low number? 41 million people around the world did not watch Crawford versus Canelo. No. 41 million devices were streaming the fight. Did that sink in for a second? 41 million people didn't watch the fight. 41 million devices were on streaming the fight live. Do I need to say it again? Like, people are like, well, what do you mean? Like, bro, this isn't advanced. This isn't like advanced algebra. This isn't calculus. Well, what are we doing? It's not 41 million people, 41 million viewers. People need to stop saying it that way. There was 41 million devices live streaming the fight. So what does that mean? It means this, okay? That means if I go to here, this counts as one viewer per Netflix. One device was streaming this shit. Look at how many people are watching that fight. That's one device. How many people are there watching this? That counted as one device. This is one device.
That's what I'm looking for early. How does Crawford react to the four?
That's one, one device. Well, I can hear the shit in the background, and let me shut the shit off. All right. There we go. All right. That is one device, ladies and gentlemen. Uno. Right. How many of you watched this fight alone? Nothing wrong with that. Like, how many watched it alone by yourself? How many watched it with your partner? How many watched it with your partner, your kids? How many invited a couple of people to your house? Now there's people like let me tell you something right now. Right? I want Netflix to release the devices because they have that. I know for a fact they have that. I want to know how many people watch it on a smartphone. I want to know how many people watch it on a tablet. I want to know how many people watch it on a laptop. I want to know how many people watch it through like a Fire Stick or one of those Google Chrome devices, whatever the fuck they call them. I forget the name. How many people watch it on smart TVs? I want to know that. That's the information I want to know. Now, granted, I'm over here making demands as if Netflix is to give me these things. They don't. Okay, like before anybody, what the fuck is this guy like demanding Netflix to give him anything? The reason I want to know because I'm curious, right? Because that would tell us a lot. All right. If you're watching on a smartphone, more than likely, it's very likely you watch it by yourself, right? You could also watch it, but I'm sure some people watch it with a smartphone next with their partner or something, or with a friend, or with some coworkers if they were at work or something, or wherever they were, right? It's a convenient device to have. It doesn't necessarily mean only one person watched it, right? But when you start getting to other devices, it started becoming more and more likely that multiple people were watching that event. So if it's on a Fire Stick, well, you connect a Fire Stick to a television. So therefore, not to say that nobody watched it with a Fire Stick, by themselves or with one other person, but, there were people watching this around a bunch of people, right? Netflix said 41 million, but there's no way for Netflix, right, to make a determination on how many people, how many viewers there was. I just showed you where there's like 1,000 people watching it on one device. I just showed it to you. right? And I'm not even bringing up the fact that people that watch it at bars, people that watch it at places like that, but households. I'm seeing all these videos of people where they watch the Canelo Crawford fight, and there's like at least 20 people in that household. I don't know how many people, right, watch the fight. There's no way for me to know. But we do know how many devices were tuning into that fight, right? And since we know that, since we could see like how the fight was trending, all the social media hits it was getting, before, during, and after, it seems to me like it was a thing to do that night. So I'm just throwing this out there. It wouldn't shock me that the 23 million or whatever it was, quote unquote, viewers that they're citing, which is really devices, it wouldn't shock me if 100 million people watched the fight in the United States alone. It wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that wouldn't shock me. But worldwide, I am confident. I'm very confident that at least 200 million people watched this fight live around the world. Canelo's done fights where 14 million households are watching him in Mexico on TV. Like, and those 14 million households is not just one person per household. So in Mexico alone, they're underestimating the numbers just by counting the device. In the United States, there is some, we still have a little bit of that fight night culture where because we're a nation that watches sports, and I'm sure people got together to watch this fight. Again, people I believe are grossly underestimating how many people got together to watch these fights. I just got to ask you guys. We'll just do a poll right now. When you watched this fight, did you watch it by yourself? And who else do you know that watched the fight, and how did they watch it? I know multiple people that watched it with a bunch of people at a house. That's me. It's anecdotal, but that's me, right? Where there's at least a dozen people or more at the household watching the fight. So what I'm telling you around the world, I'm very confident in saying. And I'm taking into account accessibility. I'm taking into account the fact that there's very little reason to illegally stream it. Like, this is one of those fights I know very few people that illegally streamed it, or anybody. I don't know anyone. If you illegally stream this and you call yourself a boxing fan, like, I don't even know what to say, bro. Like, Netflix is cheap, all right? But I don't think anybody did. I think many people watch this with, I think the majority, at the very least, 2 or 3 people. Then you have people that watch it by themselves for a multitude of reasons, right? It could be, shit, just got out of work and I don't want to go anywhere, but I'll watch it on my phone, whatever. You know what I mean? It could be just like there are people that just like watching fights by themselves, right? They don't want to hear other people like say dumb shit. Like it's what like there's just people like that, right? I know a lot of people like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But for the most part, think about the staggering amount of people that got together to watch this fight in both the Mexican and Black community, especially. Like, there's no way you could tell me. Like, I want to know the devices because we're in a different world now, right? Before they would say households. That's how they would kind of like break down the numbers. But with Netflix, it's different, right? With Netflix, you could be at the job site, have your phone with you and watch it. You know what I mean? You could be anywhere. Like you don't have to miss that wedding or whatever. You could go and you could watch on your phone while you're at that wedding. or whatever it is. Like, you know what I mean? You could be there, you could watch it, whatever, right? But I want to know the devices. 41 million is devices. Netflix. This is not Nielsen. Netflix doesn't have to call people and do polling and nothing. They're a direct service stream. They know the numbers, brother. Javier Logan. They know what the numbers are. They know what devices are watching, right? They know how many of them are smartphones, tablets, laptops, because you have to sign into that shit, and they know which device you're using to stream. Like they know this stuff, all right? Like they know this to the T. Like this is not Nielsen numbers. This is more accurate than the pay-per-view numbers. The pay-per-view numbers takes time to count, right? So what I'm telling you is that 41 million is a low end in terms of viewers. I believe what they're saying, that it's those, but those are devices. So when you invited people to your house and you have a Fire Stick or a smart TV, right? And there's like 30 people at your house or whatever, 20 people, 15 people, whatever it is. It could be 7 people. They count that as one viewer. That's it. That's what they count it as. There's no way for me to know just right now how many of those viewers are smartphones, because more than likely smartphones by yourself, right? People typically watch things with their phone by themselves, but there could be, I give you examples of other stuff, right? I doubt a group of 20 people got around like a little smartphone to watch. Like, maybe it happened, maybe, I don't know, but for the most part, it is what it is. But if we're talking smart TVs, Fire Sticks, yes, you're going to have your people that just like to watch it by themselves. They don't want to be around other people. They just got out of work. Yeah, I'm just going to watch the fight and go to sleep, whatever it is, right? Yes, you're going to have those people. But I believe that at the very least, and I'm being generous here, at least half of the people watching on smart TVs and Fire Sticks or anything like that, I think a dozen or more is very plausible for a fight like this. Like, I think the fact that people gather together to make this a social event hurt the device numbers, which is what I'm calling it. I'm calling it the device numbers, right? I believe, because I knew a lot of people that watched Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, but I didn't really know a lot of people, and it's anecdotal, that got together and made a party out of it to watch this fight. Like, I just don't know that many people like that, right? But this is different. And think about how much the device numbers gets impacted just by the very fact that people gather together to watch this, right? That, like, they gather together and watch it the way you gather together and watch a pay-per-view, right? And then Sheila makes a great point. There's people that connect their phone device to the TV, so not just necessarily one. So yes, you're going to have people that watch it on a smartphone. They connect it to the TV, and they could be 2, 3 people, whatever, watching it, right? It could also be them by themselves, but it is what it is. But I am confident. I swear to God, I am confident that at least 200 million people around the world watch this. And what I want to know, if you're from, like, because obviously it was late, it's very likely that somebody in the UK watched it by themselves, because, like, it's in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? Or like, what time? Or morning, wasn't it? Like, UK, what time was it? Like 6 in the morning, something like that, 7 in the morning. You know, so maybe, I don't know. I just think it's more likely that they watched it by themselves, given that circumstance. I don't know what time it was in Australia, like maybe afternoon or something. But what I want to know from people from Australia, UK, Europe, how did you watch it? Like, because I'm interested to know, right? I think the accessibility that there was in South America, like the accessibility in Mexico, the accessibility in, like, I just, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, so those 25 viewers in the US, which is really devices, right? And Canelo's done 14 million households before in Mexico. Even if you like believe that only one person per household watching the fights in Mexico for one of Canelo's fights before, like, I mean, just think about it. Like, what you you really believe it's only 41 million in the world? No, I think at least 100 million watch this shit in the U.S. Like, I believe that. I'm not as confident that as worldwide, but I'm pretty confident about it. And I think like Mexico, it was probably like, I think like 50 million people watched it in Mexico, or 40 million, something like that. Like it's, I believe, like just those two countries alone get us close to 100 million, or get us like close to 200 million, bro. Like I'm convinced. Like you call me whatever you want to call me. I'm convinced that shit did over 200 million in the world. That's what boxing did. Right? And why am I? Because I want the sport to get its credit. Right? I want the sport to get its recognition. This isn't like 41 million viewers watching the boxing match is not the same thing as like 41 million people watching some random TV show on Netflix or a movie on Netflix because 20 people don't gather together to watch a movie on Netflix, right? Netflix and chill isn't an orgy. Like, you know what I mean? It's what it is, right? Like, I'm just saying. Like, you know, when people say Netflix and chill, it's two people tops, all right? And when it comes to this, you know, saying the sport of boxing, like Canelo told Max Kellerman, hey Max, boxing's good too, but boxing's better and better and better, Max, right? And Crawford's being his wingman, say, yeah, facts. So what I'm telling you is, I believe, and that Netflix needs to figure this out for fights, because you need to release, because it matters in this case, release the devices. I want to know what devices are watching. And I know for a fact they have access to that. I used to work in this industry, okay? They have the device numbers. And they're more sophisticated and advanced today than they were when I left that industry, right? So what I'm telling you is, right? So that is that. 41 million devices. Look, I'm not saying Netflix is lying. They're not lying. It's just a very misleading way of putting it. And we haven't adapted to the new way of getting an estimated amount of viewers, right? We just haven't adapted to it, right? With Netflix, you can't quite do homes, right? There could be 4 people in the same household individually watching Canelo Crawford on the smartphone in their own room, for all we know, right? That's something we need to consider as well. But once you look at other type of devices that are meant for, or are more, you know, better equipped for multiple people to watch, then it's a little different, right? So that's what I'll say. I think Eric Gomez has made a point. You see, the more you talk about this, like, points are coming up to mind, right? Tyson Jake fight had more kids who individually watch on their phones and tablets, increase the numbers that were Canelo Bud was watched by big groups, not individuals. I think that's a great point, right? Like, I was watching this one video, right? And it was a funny video. They're funny. I don't get bent out of shit about any of this shit. But there was like a group of like Mexican, like old dudes, right? It was like old couples, and they're like watching the Canelo fight. And they're all like aguitados, right? They're all just kind of like sitting there quietly. And it's like right after the fight, before they make the announcement, because they kind of like already knew, right? And the thing says, you know, like, oh, it's kind of sad, or whatever it was. Like, poor, like, these are like 6-year-old Mexican, like, leave them alone, like, you know what I mean? But whatever. But anyway, but I'm like looking, I'm like, that's one device, and that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's like 9 people on one device. You know, and like go to the social media, like when people are like clowning on the Canelo fans that are sad, but look around though, like for the purposes of this, look at the amount of people there, right? I'm looking at videos celebrating when Bud won, right? And I'm counting, and I'm seeing multiple people. Like they're gathering to get to it. So I'm just saying, you know? So in my opinion, around the world, 200 million watch this fight. And in the U.S., it's possible. You know, I'll bring down my instead of I won't say 100. 100 million is crazy, but it's not impossible. But I would say at least 60 million people watched it. There's a reason the main event is at 10 p.m. So UK, Europe, Saudi, you can watch. Look, I mean, I guess the you know the East Coast kind of gets screwed over a little bit. I know they were complaining about how late it was, and but I don't know. Like it's Saturday night. It's not that late. You know, I mean, it is what it is. But it makes sense. Like they want people in the UK, other people around the world to kind of at least it's not 4 a.m, you know, or some shit like that. So it makes sense. But that's just the thoughts I wanted to give. I'm interested to know what you guys think, right? The way people choose to watch it, especially with the way Netflix functions and works, because we're no longer looking at households when it comes to Netflix. So, we're looking at devices that are streaming. And because that's the way they're doing the numbers, I think it's important for them to release how many of those are smartphones, how many of those are, you know, like Fire Sticks, how many of those, I don't even know the name of the Google one. Or what, or there's other ones. How many of those were smart TVs? How many of those were tablets, laptops, desktops? Like just give us these numbers. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? That's all I got. All right. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Oh no, that's not all I got. Look, I get that Canelo just lost, right? I even get people being disappointed that he lost, right? But here's the thing, all right? And a lot of people are doing it, and I hear it in their voices, and I hear it in their like I hear it, like I like it's like easy to see it, right? And I'm not even like mad at it, but I could counter it though. I can give you some of this energy if you want it, right? I can, if you guys want to go there, we'll go there, right? And look, it's gonna look, a lot of what I'm gonna say is gonna make me sound like a dick. All right. They make me sound like a dick, but I'm just returning the same energy. That's all I'm doing, right? And what I want to make sure people understand is this, right? Like you got the Feitelsons of the world. No, it's nada personal contra Canelo. Like it's nothing personal, but then he says things like Canelo's not a good person. Like I thought you said it wasn't personal, bro. Right? Like that sounds personal. What the fuck does that have to do with boxing? Like get the fuck out of here, right? You got the Teddy Atlases of the world, right? Who every other sentence has to say, and I'm not trying to talk about, well, you know, I love the loyal Mexican fan base, but they're gonna have to like just shut the fuck up, Teddy. All right? You fucking hypocrite. Start with him before I get to the Mexican fan base. For Teddy Atlas, right? My issue with Teddy is not that he picked Bud and Bud won. There's plenty of people that pick Bud, right? My issue with Teddy is that he's been on a campaign, right, to reduce Canelo. Like this has been a campaign of his, right? And when he talks to Mexican fight fans, he doesn't talk, about them in a sense of like a matter of fact or just in any sensible way. It's always like talking down to the Mexican fight fan. Like the Mexican fight fans don't know boxing, or they're ignorant, or like you should have known better, or like you guys are just delusional, you're just this and you're that, and you don't know anything about the history of the Mexican fighters. And he pulls out a piece of paper. He can't even pronounce half of the names. Doesn't know about any of them. People just assume because Teddy's been in the boxing game for a long time, right, that he knows everything about everything. But like he exposed himself in that one video, right, when he pulled out a piece of paper, right, and he's like reading off a bunch of Mexican legends, right? He can't pronounce the name of half of them. He doesn't even break down why they're better than Canelo. He's just reading their names. Oh, the Edwin Seldiver, like what the fuck he was saying, and then saying names that, I mean, great fighters, but they weren't better than Canelo. Give me a fucking break, bro. All right, give me a break. He's saying names of dudes that lost to fighters that are nowhere near as good as Mayweather, Crawford, or Bivol, right? And there's the audacity to just sit there and read off these names of many of them that got knocked out, have like multiple losses on their records. By the way, nothing wrong with any of that. But the way he's judging Canelo, right? Yeah, Canelo, he's going to be remembered for just never winning the big one. I mean, like, shut up, Teddy. All right? This is the same guy that compared Conor McGregor, right, to fucking like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and after he beat Cowboy Cerrone. Go take a fucking seat, bro. This is saying he's complaining about the fucking scorecard. This is the same guy, right, that couldn't stop sucking off Lomachenko, and when he got beat by freaking Teofimo Lopez, he scored it a fucking draw, dude. 114 for Loma, but he wants to sit around talking about Cheatham or any other fucking judge. He's a horrible judge himself. Have you not seen Teddy score fights? Multiple even rounds. You have to fight with Horn and Pacquiao close, but then he looks at Horn like an asshole and tells him, I don't think you won the fight. Go sit down, dude. All right? Go sit the fuck down. Go sit over there. All right? Get the fuck out of here. The same dude that says, oh, Tyson never won a fight. Anytime Tyson fought someone who came to win, he lost. Like, can somebody just tell this dude to shut the fuck up? Why isn't Canelo a top 5 Mexican fighter of all time, Teddy? Because he lost to Mayweather, he lost to Crawford, and he lost to Bivol. Oh yeah, what about Marquez? He lost to Freddie Norwood, Teddy. He lost to Chris John. Good fighters, but are they Mayweather? Are they Crawford? Are they Bivol? Marquez lost to fucking Tim Bradley. Eric Morales. I love Eric Morales. Is my favorite fighter of all time. Love the guy. Great fighter. Right? He is. Love Eric Morales. I really do. But he lost to Zaire Rahim, bro. He got dominated by fucking Rahim. He lost. Rahim had his number. It is what it is. How do we get mad at it? Okay, the best man won that night. But like he lost to Rahim. That's it. I mean, you lost to Rahim. You can have it. Blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up, Teddy. You Mexican fighters don't know anything about Zarate. He doesn't break down why Zarate is better than Canelo. Zarate lost too. Like, what's your point? Against guys you can't compare to the guys Canelo lost to. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Yo, but Chavez was 31 years old. He lost to fucking Frankie Randall. He got knocked down. Randall won in more decisive fashion, in my opinion, than Crawford did. Chavez was like, we keep it real. And you know how I said I'm going to sound like an asshole? You know how I said I was going to sound like an asshole, right? Because I don't like talking shit about these legends. I don't. But we need to have the same energy because that's the energy we're moving with, right? Because guys like Faitelson are quick to point out and they like to really, like, you know what Faitelson is doing. I know what the fuck he's doing, but Faitelson is the same dude that I seen him once, argue that Whitaker ran the whole night against Chavez. His fanboy ass won't admit that Whitaker got the best of Chavez that night. But he wants to talk about Canelo and Canelo's fans and Canelo himself not wanting to admit anything. I don't know that, man. Like, bro, like, yes, you're going to have some here and there, but not to that degree. Faitelson. See, Whitaker corrió toda la pelea. Like, shut the fuck up, you fucking fanboy motherfucker. The fuck you talking about? Y'all got some insecurities you apparently you don't want to talk about, right? Well, when it comes to Canelo losses, because for some reason you think, Canelo was never that good. He's not even top 10. Like, get the fuck out of here. For all you dudes out there that, finally, you see, these Mexican reporters keeping it real about Canelo, right? A lot of you dudes, right now, just because it's about Canelo, I just want to let you guys know that guy thinks like Chavez beat Whitaker, bro. Because he said Whitaker was running the whole night. Corrió toda la pelea. Like that's what he was saying. I'm not tearing down Chavez. I'm just using the same energy. Is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I still rate Chavez as above Canelo all time. This is not me trying to make an argument for Canelo to be above Chavez. What I am doing is using the same logic and type of criticism towards Chavez that stupid motherfuckers like them use on Canelo. That's what I'm doing. So that's the way I see it. Because people keep saying things like, we don't want to hear any excuses. Canelo wasn't old. Canelo wasn't this. Canelo was as good as he ever was. If you make any excuses, you're a fanboy, you're this and you're that. You get all these motherfuckers been making excuses for their fighters for years. Chavez wasn't the same anymore by the time that, and maybe he wasn't. Right? Chavez was doing drugs. He was partying all night. He wasn't taking shit. That's his problem, right? Frankie Randall wasn't living a squeaky clean life, and neither was Whitaker, by the way, right? I don't want to get into personal business, but it's just all that's well documented, and I'm sure it affected them as fighters. But what I'm saying is, I just don't want to hear it, right? I don't want to hear these old heads, all respect to them, right? Shit on Canelo and talk about how, the Canelo fans this, the Canelo fans that, the Mexican fans that, they're not respectful. I didn't see anybody throwing bottles at Crawford the way they were throwing to Frankie Randall after the rematch. I didn't see him throwing trash at Crawford after the fight. I didn't see it like a riot almost happening. Like, I didn't see any of that shit. What I call Canelo fans sore look. Canelo fans have never done a riot the way I've seen in some of these older clips. Canelo fans have never done any of that shit. Do yourself a favor if you haven't already. Go watch Chavez Randall 2. And look at what happens after the fight. Do yourself a favor and go do that. Oh, but Canelo lost. Yeah. Marquez lost to Freddie Norwood. Does anyone here know who Freddie Norwood is? Good fighter, but that's who he lost to. He got outboxed in that match. He lost to Chris John. I'm just giving you the facts. If you guys feel it, oh no, that's too much. Why are you doing that, style? Well, why are you bringing up his losses? Like all you guys do is bring up Canelo losses. That's all you want to do. And if we keep it real, Teddy's just butthurt that is because Teddy loves Eastern European fighters. He's just butthurt that he beat Golovkin. That's all it is. At the end of the day, Faitelson is just pissed off because he said Canelo will never fight Golovkin. He said Canelo was scared of Golovkin. They got in the ring Golovkin 3 times. And people want to create this narrative like, oh, he was robbed. Like, look, if you want to argue the first fight, I thought it was close, but you want to argue that Golovkin won the first fight, go ahead. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. But, like, the second fight, you're all just being crybabies, bro. You're being crybabies. Like, that's what you are. Canelo stepped to him. He backed him up. And I thought he clearly won that fight. But some of you are just, till this day, no, he never beat Golovkin. You got the fucking Golovkin fans who are trying to join in the fray and shit. Like, they think they're in the club. Like you know what I mean? It was hilarious. It's been hilarious this week. Like, yeah, we beat Canelo. And everyone's like looking at these dudes like, what are you talking about? And they don't even realize, like, bro, like, every time Canelo, like, it loses, it makes you look worse. At the end of the day, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know, man. People just that's what it is, bro. Those have just been waiting for Canelo to lose, dude. That's all it is. So, and you know how bad of a message that is to all fighters out there. You know what? Don't stay active. Don't put your body in the line. Don't put any wear and tear because the day's gonna come when it all shuts down and they're going to shit on you. So that's all they're going to do. But that's it. Oh, but Barrera got fucking annihilated by Junior Jones, bro. He got dominated. And like, they had to stop the fight. It chose DQ because Barrera's, like, brother got in the ring, but it was a TKO. To this day, I don't know why they haven't changed that. It should be a TKO, right? I never seen anybody do that to Canelo. I never seen somebody just go in there in the 6 rounds, just pick him apart and fucking like leave him a mess where Reynoso had to jump in the ring and cover him and save him. I never seen that happen. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. So that's all I'm saying. Oh boy, I'm gonna read it. Nando, but I'm gonna read it. I haven't seen an older athlete at that much muscle quickly and create a new prime like Bud. Since Barry Bonds, Bud looked washed versus Madrimal. Well, I don't know. I mean, I thought Bud looked good. That's that. You know what I mean? But thanks for the support, brother. Man, I don't give a fuck how I'll be sounding. Like, oh, just watch out. You're gonna sound like this. Like here's what people need to understand, man. Like, I'm not reactionary. I don't act the way, like, I'm not like, oh, if I say this, they might say that. And if I say it this way, they're gonna say this. Nah, bro, I'm just gonna give you my opinion on shit. That's it. People are going to say it anyway. Doesn't matter. I come on post-fight, I give about all the credit in the world, right? I give all the credit in the world, right? There's still comments saying, oh, you're making excuses, even though I mean no excuses. You could go watch the video, right? And look at the comment. Like, people are going to say what they want to say anyway. Anytime someone says, hey, chill, don't say that. Like, it's that's what I need to act the way you want me to act. How about you just do your own video and talk however you want to talk, and you can say whatever you want to say instead of worrying about how I'm saying it. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about how I'm saying. Well, why would you want to alter and change the way I speak anyway? Like, what's going on with that? I'm going to say what I want to say. I would think that's why you tune in, so you could know what I want to say. Whether you agree or disagree, at least you know these styles authentic thoughts, right? You know what I mean? Instead of like, well, I don't know if these styles say what he meant because maybe he's trying to fuck all that shit. So I just want to go back here because you have people like making reels and just saying things like, oh, Canelo, he's not even top 10 all-time Mexican fighter. Oh, he's not even like just like, give me a break, bro. Like give me a break. He's not in the top 10. Give me a fucking break. Right? Like you can go fuck yourselves with that shit opinion. In my opinion. You know what I mean? So we need to give credit where credit is due. All right? Accomplishments in boxing don't just get erased, right? You can't just like take them away, regardless of what happens, right? Like I never understood people that say, "Oh, like Roy Jones ruined his legacy." Like, I mean, did he? I mean, I get it. I mean, after the John Ruiz fight, he moved back down. He got knocked out by I said Crawford, Tarver. He got knocked out by Glenn Johnson. He got knocked out by that Russian over there in Russia. And then it just wasn't looking good for a while. And he just kept fighting too long. He got beat up by Calazaghe. And people look at the Calazaghe fight, and you know, they do shit like, oh, well, that was always Roy Jones anyway. He was the same fighter. And when he clearly wasn't in Roy Jones' case. But I mean, what Roy did, he did. Like you can't take away what he did. You can't take away the accomplishments of Canelo Alvarez. You know, like it is what it is. It's all cemented. It doesn't go anywhere once you accomplish something. So just leave it at that. You know what I mean? So Canelo, I'll tell you a fight I want to see, and I think it's the fight to make, and that'll be the David Benavidez fight. And people could think whatever they want to think, and I think people are convinced. Look, man, that's not an easy fight, but it's a different type of challenge than the Crawford fight. It's a dangerous fight, you know, but as a fight fan, not saying Canelo has to take it, by the way, but as a fight fan, I wouldn't mind watching it. You know, like, will it be De La Hoya Chavez or will it be De La Hoya Vargas? You know, will it be the older Mexican kind of passing the torch, or will it be the older Mexican schooling the younger Mexican? Like that's the type of fight that can happen. Look, I'm a fan of both guys, so it's just what it is to me. But obviously, I've been following Canelo longer. I'm a bigger fan of Canelo, but I don't necessarily hate David. You know what I mean? I don't like some of the moves of his team, you know, but that's a different story. That's the fight I want to see. Now, it's not that I'm not really interested in any other Canelo fight right now. Who's he going to fight? I know some people say Eubank, but I mean, I guess. You know. So, well, we'll leave it at that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I got to get going, guys. Get ready for work and all that good stuff. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I really do. Whether you agree with me, disagree with me, it's all good. And that's that. If you didn't watch the beginning of the video, it's an important part. Go watch it. And I want to know what you guys think. I 200 million. Putting that out there. I'm out. Peace.